Hello students, today we are going to learn about the area of quadrilateral, and in your packet on page 2 you actually have areas of some of them. So here we have parallelogram, triangle, trapezoid or trapezium, and circle area. For the rest you will have to know and memorize it yourself. So okay, let's have a look to some of them. The first thing that we have to remember with parallelogram, the area is base times height, and we have to make sure that base and height are perpendicular to each other. So those are the two that you have to take into account in this case. So for instance, for this figure, although you are given also this side length, which is 10, and here obviously it's also 12, but when you are finding the area of this figure, then what you have to do is multiply 12 by the height, and the height has to be perpendicular to the base. So 8 is the measurement that you need and not 10. Okay, so here of course the answer is 96 centimeter squared. Okay, the next one, area of trapezoid or trapezium is a half times a plus b times h, and a and b are the parallel sides and h is the height of the trapezium. So in this case, if you have this trapezium, you see the two parallel lines here. So you have to take both of them as A and B. Okay, so A and B have to be the two parallel lines. And then the height of the trapezium is the perpendicular line that connect the two parallel lines. So in this case, then you will have a half multiplied by 19 plus 10, and then multiply that by the height, which is 23 in this case. So if you take your calculator, you can do this all in one go. So a half, you can type a half as fraction here. This is the button you remember from the last time that you can choose to make a fraction, or you can also just enter. If you don't want to do that, you can just enter also 0.5, which is a half, and then times bracket. Here we will have 19 plus 10. And then don't forget to go out of the bracket and multiply that by the height, which is 23 in this case, right? So if you do so, then we have 333.5. So that will be the answer of the area of this trapezium. And don't forget the unit in this case, yard square. Okay. All right, so the next figure is a kite, and the kite area formula is not in your formula booklet, so you need to know that the formula is you multiply the two diagonals, so diagonal 1 and diagonal 2, and then divide it by 2. So the diagonals of a kite always make 90 degrees angle here. So if you multiply the length of the first diagonal times the second diagonal and then divide that by 2, that will be the area of the kite. So in this case, because we are given that PR is 64 inches and SQ or QS is 56 inches, so the only thing you have to do is to multiply 64 times 56 and then divide it by 2. So that's the area of a kite. Now the next thing that we have to discuss is a rhombus. And a rhombus is a figure which looks like a parallelogram because you have two pairs of parallel lines. However, in a rhombus, all four sides are equal. So all these four sides have equal length. And another special feature of a rhombus is that the two diagonals, just like a kite, also are perpendicular to each other. And actually, they cut each other exactly in the middle. So then in this case, although they both do not have the same length, but they cut each other in the middle. So meaning these two sides will be equal and this one will be equal as well. Okay, and for area of a rhombus, you actually have two formula. So the first formula for a rhombus is the same as parallelogram. So you will need the base, and then the height will be taken as the line which is perpendicular to the base. Here you can take it as the height, and then the area will be base times height. If, let's say, what is given is the length of the two diagonals, and we know the two diagonals of a rhombus make 90 degrees angle, then you can use exactly the same formula as a kite. So you will have to multiply the two lengths of the diagonals and then divide it by 2. So it's not so difficult. You just have to follow the formulas and try to find areas of the figures. Good luck.